Currently, we think that the route of the Camino de Santiago has always been the same. However, nothing could be further from the truth. Over 1,000 years ago, right here in Nájera, it was decided to change the route of more than 100 kilometers of the Camino de Santiago. This was because the king of Pamplona conquered these lands from the Muslims in the year 923 and left them to his son. When the king dies, his son inherits the entire kingdom and makes Nájera the royal seat. However, the Way of St. James did not pass through here, so decades later they altered the route so that, after Pamplona, pilgrims would head towards Nájera and then continue on to Burgos. This significant change affects all pilgrims to this day. Let's discover the ancient capital of the Kingdom of Pamplona, Nájera. To one of these kings, Garcia Sanchez III, a pious legend is attributed that gives origin to the important monastery of the town. According to the story, while the king was hunting, he saw his falcon enter some bushes following a partridge. As it took a while to come out, the king approached to discover the entrance of a cave. Upon entering, he found the falcon and the partridge next to a statue of a virgin in a modest chapel, with a bell, a lamp, and a bouquet of fresh lilies. Amazed by that discovery, the king ordered the construction of a temple to house the statue of the Virgin, which he named of the cave. Going to the historical data, the temple was consecrated in 1052. The king would be buried at the foot of this Virgin, and the temple continued to grow with a monastery, and a welcome to the pilgrim of the Way of St. James. Starting in the 15th century, a new building in Gothic style is constructed, largely replacing the previous one. The monument, like so many others, suffers many vicissitudes in the 19th century. It endures looting during the War of Independence and abandonment after the disentailment. It is used as an infantry barracks, theatre, public works depot, and warehouse until it is finally protected by being declared a national monument. In Nájera, we must make an important decision. It takes us a few hours off the Way of St. James, but it will set us apart from the pilgrims who only follow yellow arrows to reach Compostela as soon as possible. Very close to here is San Millán de la Cogolla. This place is recognized as the cradle of Spanish and Basque, as the first written words in these two languages have been found there. But above all, it is a monumental complex of significant importance in Spain. It features the Visigothic monastery of Suso and the great monastery of Yuso, both of which can be visited. We can go back and forth by bus from Nájera, for these extra kilometers is not necessary to walk. I recommend the visit to San Millán de la Cogolla. It's very close by and worth it. Of course, for that you need to take your time on the way, something that is sometimes very difficult. Remember that you have the Buen Camino de Santiago app for any questions you have, whether it's the schedule of your bus to come here, the prices, any information about Nájera, or any other practical information. Buen Camino.